The truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off.
Hello, this is Strange Lounge with DJ Curious.
In the beginning, there was nothing. But the breath of the Creator fluttered against the face of the void, whispering, "Let there be light."
Hi there. Are you interested in the White House?
We'd have way better CGI if it was fake. Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
God.
All right, welcome in. You found the Strange Lounge. I'm your host, DJ Curious, and with me tonight we have the one, the only, Marvelous.
Thank you. No, please. I don't have the words. I don't.
There's not a dry eye in the crowd tonight.
Oh, it's just, oh my God. It's so emotional.
For being here.
Oh,
right.
The acceptance is just whatever.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Leader of Earth, for joining us for an extra 2 hours of
That party
fun
trick is
entertainment.
that party trick is 6 years and still going.
I love it. If you're the Leader of Earth, I'm like Zazu.
And six years, and my competition is Putin and Doctor Who.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir. I guess I don't know what exactly I would be. I feel like I'm Zazu or Jafar or some sort of sidekick. If we're villains, then we'll go the villain route. If we're the good ones, then there you go. Those are my options.
Right.
What's up, chat? We got who's in the house tonight? Okay, Yazbot was in. Is she here? They're here. I don't even know if it's a boy or girl. Actually, that's so weird. Sorry. Ginger Sugar, or if it's a they, I guess I have to say that. Post anything. Tommy Tell the Truth. Rebecca Ford. Who else is here? Mr. Tahiti. Did I say that right? Sue Finelli's here. Carol with a K. Flap Mama. We got lots of Flap Mamas in the house. Miyushu baby. Franklin, what's up? All right. I'm excited to have you everybody back. That was a great episode. How cool was it that Dave called in? Allegedly, Dave. Is everybody named Dave in Flat Earth and Globe side? I don't know what's going on with that, but
There's a lot of Daves.
it's a lot of Daves, right?
Yeah.
Got to keep them all straight. But yeah, fun episode. Fun in the way of like, are we just documenting the downfall of humanity with this AI kind of play by play, week after week? Aliens, AI. Is that why people think we're crazy?
No.
Is that what's happening here?
No. We're not crazy.
We're not crazy. In fact, let's get the music started. We're gonna show up tonight's background.
Hey, where'd that background come from?
Well, you were like, "Oh, DJ, we can't animate the Terminator scene." So I was like, "I'm gonna fix that real quick."
Yeah, yours
was
was too close to the actual Terminator, and all you really did was put a little more of a light show on a Terminator body.
I know it's a T whatever. Is it a T1000?
Well, there's a T100 and the T1000, and T800 I don't think even exists.
Wait, what was Robert Patrick's character? He was the T1000.
He was T1000.
So what is this thing called in the movie?
This would be the T100, I believe. Arnold's. I can look it up.
I'm sure the chat knows. But yeah, as soon as I put the little light up glasses on and stuff, it did this automatic, DJ breastplate, I guess. Cyberdyne Systems.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was the T800. Jeez.
Well, that's what it says right there. Okay, duh.
And Delta effect.
But that's cool.
So he was the T800. The fact that you could put Cyberdyne Systems on there, that's fine. But it's the visual look they didn't want.
Oh, I love this. When we make them dance is my favorite part of the whole show, right?
I know. I think I like this version better. And did you put the no fate in at the
No.
You didn't do that? What? I don't even want to know what your prompts were, do I?
I don't even remember. It's just I play around with it. This is where AI, you're trying to use it for good, right? That's the whole point here. All right, well, that's enough of the dancing robots, even though I love them. And I can just watch it all night long.
Because that's the part we're not going to get. All the other AI stuff is fine. We're actually creating the AI brain long before the robots are ready. And the reason why the robots are not going to be ready, I'm going to try to soothe some fears here, is because they cannot solve the battery problem. They just cannot do it. It is not, they're way too heavy. They can't be used for home use.
Until they figure out wireless charging. Come on. Hello, Mark.
Well, if they get into the whole wireless, if you can do the whole Tesla, look, the Tesla transmitting power wirelessly. He was working on that a long time ago. And
don't you think if you're the smartest thing in the world and you're robots and you got AI, they're going to figure out how to self-charge? That's the whole point of the Matrix. So whenever you say like it's never going to do this, I'm like, you're going to eat your words.
It's not, even if you could, you'd never release it for home use. Could you come up with it for the military? Yeah, maybe. Although, come on, a humanoid robot for the military is not very practical compared to like a spider or something with tank tracks or like a dog.
Or until we change the way we live and the way that we function in our rooms and our homes, and they create pathways for these robots to be, useful throughout your home.
Yeah, I guess. But
I'm not trying to be contrarian. I'm just
No. They're very expensive. But the other thing is the battery technology. Even if you come up with a wireless transfer system, and of course, once you do that, the civilization would change anyway. Right now, with the existing battery technology that we have, they're way too heavy, which is why the European models, which you and I covered a year ago, are covered in a really thick body sweater. Because they knew full well, it's like, oh no, it's going to be bumping into furniture. It's going to be tripping over things. You do not want a 150, 180 pound or 200 pound thing falling on your coffee table. Or you don't want to fall on your pet or your child. because then it's over. So, and come on, like my little, I've shown you, my iRobot. I use a little iRobot that's over here in the corner to vacuum, because it's the perfect place to vacuum. It doesn't have any extension cords they can run into, and there's very few table legs. If you guys didn't understand it hates chair legs or table legs, doesn't like legs of any kinds. But one of the things it does is that as time goes by, weeks and months and years, it starts scuffing things. It starts, if you don't have a black wall, all of a sudden you start seeing scuff marks around your moldings where there wasn't any before. It's, a scuff mark here, scuff mark, it just starts adding up. So getting a, they already have the next battery tech. They can't release it because it would help us. Sure. No, I agree with Dave Murphy's thing on that. The battery technology that we have access to is not something that they can use home robot models in right now. In fact, well, come on, the Terminator, this is for your thing. I've talked about it on multiple occasions. The Terminator movie series, they didn't even address the power problem until the third movie. And then they ruined it because they said, oh, we've got mini atomic reactors in the chest plates, 2 of them. Which is like, okay, what happens if one of those things gets ruptured? Oh, it's a kiloton blast that could wipe out multiple city blocks. It's like, okay, so why would you ever have a robot sitting next to another robot? You wouldn't.
Well, look, I'm not trying to be a contrarian when I try to think of how they're going to outsmart what you're coming up with. They're going to try to find where there's a will, there's a way. Come on, Jurassic Park. It's all very like life finds a way. Robots will find a way.
Robots, kind of like Jack Frost was asking me recently about the hover bikes, right? The hover motorcycles, which is basically the ones they're thinking about as a drone, the motorcycle the drone the size of a motorcycle. It's a nice idea, but you cannot. They will not allow that to happen without a pilot's license. It will not happen. It's not like your DMV where you can go down there half drunk and pass your motorcycle driving test. This is like flying a helicopter. You cannot do it without a pilot's license. It looks cool and everything, but that's just the limitation to what you can do with it. So anyway, the point again is the AI brain is there already. The robot body has not caught up yet, and I don't know when that's going to catch up anytime soon. I mean, I've been watching the robot stuff now for a couple decades, and it hasn't got. I mean, yeah, they've gotten the makeup stuff, but come on, real dolls. I don't want to get into the sex trade, but look up realdolls.com. They've had $5,000 sex dolls now for years and years, and it's like, okay, so now we can make some robots look like that. I guess
it's all crazy. It's all coming. It is weird how so many things are coming to a head. And if you do look at through the biblical lens, you see the prophecies, and you got to kind of pay attention of, okay, that something's going to try to implement control. Something's going to try to deceive with the teaching of demons. And is that what New Age stuff is falling for right now? And we know like space stuff. It's so crazy how many things are coming to a head. And then here we are just watching dancing robots talking about AI and just being like, well, this is where you got to have some sort of level of faith. Otherwise, the fear would just kind of take over. And I feel bad for people on the globe side that have genuine concerns, because they have no choice but to trust, and they don't know necessarily what to look for. But I thought Dave was so interesting when he was like, he can see through it. And it's kind of like where I see that being very clear is when we watch those rockets that say they're landing. I mean, to me, that looks like AI. It looks like computer graphics, somebody from playing video games my whole life. But yeah, on average, the globe side's just looking at that and taking it at face value. And are they even questioning it? I mean, that's the weird part for me. That's like a small example, a big example of like what I think is already starting.
Well, we had the advantage. I'm going to do a silver lining here. We had the advantage, and you know this, where we front loaded the skepticism in the space program to such a degree for so many, for a number of years, that when Artemis came out, if we weren't around, yeah, they could have faked Artemis and probably gotten away with it. But since we were around, nope, we warned people way in advance. And how many times do I say it? I go, if they even try another moon mission, it is not going to go well, because either they're going to do the bare minimum, which they did, or they're going to make a huge amount of mistakes. And they made a few mistakes along the way. And the internet microscopes everything. Law of averages says it only takes one person to make a post. It's like, hey, what about that? Right there. And the plushie doll with the shadow was the most damning thing for me. Or the blue screen plushy thing with the text overlay was also excellent. The Nutella thing. The fact that Saturday Night Live did a routine on it shortly afterwards, where they were faking, they were doing their whole space thing and kind of making fun how easy it is to fake stuff in space. So, yes, there are a bunch of people that are buying into some aspects of AI and tech, but not all of it, especially not the part that we've been involved in. We have been the canary in the coal mine. We've been the ones saying, look, if they try to fake the space thing, watch for this. And they used, by the way, very little AI, because they knew that people would plug it into an AI detector. So the stuff they did was standard stuff that they've been doing on the ISS for years, and it didn't go anywhere. And Jeremy quit after he got back, which is awesome. Was Jeremy, right? Isn't that his name? It was Reed Victor Chris.
Oh yeah, Jeremy Hansen. Yep.
Yeah, Jeremy Hansen. He quit. Who does that? 3 months after you become the first man to orbit the moon in half a century, and he quits the space agency. Okay, sure. Why? I don't know. He's a pilot now. He's going back to pilot. Really? Can't do anything else? No other opportunities opened up? Why is that?
Well, look, I mean, I'm playing the footage. Apparently, this is like the most clear footage of some of the Apollo missions and what they did.
Oh yeah, by the way, again, as I'm staring at it, the obvious things, which are, why does it seem like it's moving in slow motion? If you doubled the frame rate of this, it would just look like a dune buggy driving around. Why is it moving in slow motion? It weighs supposedly a sixth of what it does on Earth. What's with this floaty feel? Why is it a floaty feel? Because we've just shown this floaty feel for so many years that people say, oh, people just float around on the moon. It's like, really? 180-pound man weighs 30 pounds. Why is he floating? Supposedly gravity, again, 30 pounds is 30 pounds. I can hold 30 pounds on Earth and I drop it. It drops just the same as 180 pound. It doesn't act any different. It's not like that. The equivalent, you know what I'm saying here, DJ, is this phone, because it's way lighter than a lead weight, I could just toss it in the air and it'll float slowly down to the ground. Why would it float slowly down to the ground? It just weighs lighter. You can't tell me that, no, but again, people don't know. This is why we get away with not teaching people basic physics. Nothing on the moon made sense. Nothing at all. The spacesuit, which I could go on for hours and hours. What's in that magic backpack? What is in that magic backpack that stops that suit from expanding from the pressure differential? Why? You remember, it's oxygen inside the suit, oxygen and nitrogen, and there's nothing outside. They're walking around in nothingness. Physics, straight up.
Look at the flag waving so much too. Just none of this looks real to me. Even if I wasn't a flat earther, I would just be like, "Oh, you're right." Like it just looks so weird. All of it.
Cameras playing golf on the moon. Cameras. Oh, he's collecting stuff supposedly. By the way, never saw a shovel dig down. What? How deep is that ash? How do you know? Was anyone bothered to dig down below the ash and see how deep it is? Because he seemed to be walking around and it's just fine. It's just deep enough to where you can walk around and get a sturdy footing, but it's not too deep to where you sink into it like snow. Why? Why is that? And again, what in that magic backpack equalizes the pressure differential? And how did you do it in 1969? In fact, earlier than 1969, with analog technology. How did you do it? And if you could do it, perfectly, and by the way, supposedly you have CO2 scrubbers in the back of that thing, means that you could be in a scuba diver now and you could stay underwater forever. Because that's what we're talking about. No one cared about how many oxygen levels. Nobody cared about life support system levels. They all walked around. They had apparently unlimited time riding around the moon buggy. Yeah, take the moon buggy around. Let's go 5 miles away from the craft. And then if that moon buggy breaks down, what are you going to do? You're going to hoof it? You got enough air? Apparently you have unlimited air. Nobody wants to address it.
Yeah.
The denial of the general public. Look, I'm American. I get it, right? We want it to be true. We want the Americans. We do great things as Americans. We have done great things, but we got greedy is what happened. After World War II, we're building up stuff. Remember, we're the only country that didn't get hammered during World War II. And it's like, that was their idea. It's like, you know what? Let's go to the moon. It's like, are we really going to the moon? No, we're not really going to the moon. We're going to say we're going to the moon. Why? Well, because who's going to tell us we didn't? Who's going to rival us?
Exactly. Well, hey, as AI increases in its ability, I mean, this is what is allegedly, I guess, recent.
Why is her hair up? Why is her hair standing straight up? Why is it vertical? It should be flowing like she's in a pool, but it's permed. It's like she's either being hung upside down, which isn't the case, or she's permed it. Could she be in a 0G environment with a plane that's in a parabolic flight? Yeah, you bet. You bet.
I mean, on the globe side, I want my friends, to pay attention to, okay, where's the footage of them going up in these rockets? Where's the footage of them docking? Where's the footage of them, being transferred from one pod to the next?
Wait, is this recent because of the World Cup?
I guess it is. Yeah, I just found this.
Holy crap. Will you guys stop using the same freaking tricks?
I mean, I haven't seen that guy before, but he's got this I don't know. The comments are talking about the parabolic plane, which I think is probably the most likely thing that they're doing here.
Yep. Why are you always wearing khakis and tight belts and no shoes? Why no shoes? She doesn't even have freaking socks on.
Look at her feet here. Watch this part because
why is her hair up?
Like, watch her feet right now. It's the way she slides and stuff. It doesn't seem like she's in zero gravity. It definitely seems like she's fighting some sort of, motion, either in the plane or if they have harnesses on here. But sometimes, there's another clip that I want to play that
I can't stress this enough. No one should have body hair at all. It would gum up the systems in 0G. It would gum up the life support and filter systems incredibly fast. And yet it's like, oh no, women have hair. No one wears a hairnet. It would be treated like a swimming pool. No one wants to address it. You would shave the eyebrows, you would shave their heads, you would shave their arms.
So what do you think this part is? Do you think this is zero gravity plane, or do you think this is harnesses where he's coming in?
0G, because he's going through a tube.
Okay.
0G. And by the way, they never talk about when they do a cabin switchover, when they're switching out crew. It's like, how many people, life support systems, your O2 and your nitrogen should be at very specific levels. How much life support do you have in there? Now, apparently, sometimes you can hold a dozen people. No one cares. No one cares. Like, you should be sucking up a whole bunch more oxygen. No one wants to address it. How are you creating new oxygen, by the way? Are you actually doing CO2 scrubbers in there? What sort of power supply are you doing it? What's the structural integrity of it? Because only a submarine would survive in a vacuum environment like that. Or you're using plastic and aluminum and lightweight structures. That thing would burst instantly. You wouldn't have windows. Submarines don't have windows. You want to know why? Because of the pressure difference. So why do you have big windows? How are you pulling that off?
Yep, but we're going to dive into that stuff a little bit further on into the episode. Also, I have some AI clips and lots of stuff that was circulating on social media. So last week, we kind of showed you some recent new flat earthers that are putting out content. We'll dive into that again, and we'll show some cooler AI videos that are coming out. But I do want to do a couple shout outs, and then Ginger, hang tight because we'll get to you in just a few minutes here. Shout out to Tony Coriolis, who's in town. He's visiting in California with his family, and so I got to see him and have lunch yesterday. And so shout out to you, Tony, if you're watching, you watch the playback later. It was great to see you. And he just is so cool because he's someone that really followed the Jaren timeline of everything and provides a lot of insights into that whole part of, what Jaren, because I didn't really watch too much of, no offense, Jaren, but I didn't watch much of your channel before you did the flip. So Tony really had a lot of insights that I hadn't thought of before. And I thought one thing that was really interesting was just, Jaren's just flipping on all of this NASA stuff, right? So it's like, it's really hard for me to picture how that could happen, where all of a sudden these things that you clearly look fake, even to Globers, why are you defending it? Besides, his argument was, this is the most documented event in human history. And I'm like, well, I've heard that argument. It still doesn't mean that it's real. So it is kind of crazy to be on our side and being like, look, we don't trust it. I mean, that's kind of the linchpin for me of flat earth. Maybe I could think of other ones too, but just in the moment, the NASA stuff, it's like, if NASA's real, then flat earth goes away. And if NASA's not real, why is it not real?
Right.
And it just
and why hasn't flat earth been killed yet? And why, in fact, the opposite, why does it keep spreading and spreading and spreading? You should have been able to knock that out really, really quickly, and yet you haven't.
I know. And I'm somebody that comes from I love space. I was following space stories. I was reading those boring articles. I was thinking about how does the universe allegedly work, and watching all those astrophysicists and soaking in that information my whole life and tying it into the alien stuff. So, and the only way I'm even prepared for these conversations with you and getting into flat Earth was because I could see where they were talking, where the lies started to just be too glaring. And that's what Dave was saying, when you start to have the discernment. But I credit that towards, praying about these things and trying to reach some sort of, trying to find the hope in this world, because we try not to go too dark, but it is pretty dark to think that robots and everything are just going to take over one day, or something's coming and we're just here like frogs boiling in the water. I mean, what else can we do, right? But the globe side, they look at this as all crazy. They don't think that it's ever going to happen or come true the way that the conspiracies or the movies have portrayed it. So it is, I think my whole point of like the last episode of Strange World is, what's next then? What do you think is next of the boiling of the frog? I mean, do you think that they're going to start blackmailing people quietly with information? Or
you don't have to. That's been done for years in multiple countries anyway, which is, I mean, come on, not even Germany. I would go with the KGB in Russia, which is they had a spy network, and they watched you at all times, and they knew if there was going to be dissension in the ranks. So no, blackmailing people, that's easy. That you can do that anytime. You don't even need computers to do it. You can do that just by tailing somebody and following somebody around and taking pictures. I mean, come on, detectives have been doing that since there've been detectives, right? That's the whole point of trying to trap somebody, usually men, in situations, although sometimes women.
I know, like when I thought Natasha was like a honeypot, and that she put that in her essay.
Right, exactly. But when it comes to, you don't have to blackmail people. What you do is, I mean, right now the everybody is primed. I mean, again, there's more people have cell phones than have running water, which is a super bad thing. That alone is a victory on the New World Order side. But the other side would be something I've been waiting for a while, which is an escalation of the Middle Eastern conflict, which draws in Russia and China and us to some degree, some sort of limited conflict. And then you potentially, through however that ends, then you introduce some sort of regional currencies, not a one world currency. You start out small or smaller, where it's like, okay, a currency that's all of Africa, a currency that's all of Russia and Eastern Bloc, a currency that's all of Europe, kind of like what they have now, right? I mean, the euro has been around for a while. And then you start merging them together. You create, you don't call it a one world currency, you call it something else. Some sort of, I'd have to think about it for a while. I'm usually pretty good at marketing stuff. I haven't thought about this one. And then through that currency, then you got everybody, right?
Back in the day, it was called like the Amero dollar, where they were trying to merge the American dollar with the euro.
Right.
And that was a conspiracy I heard about 20 years ago. And I don't know.
Or trying to unify the Canadian dollar, the American dollar, and the peso, and do that. I mean, you can do it on a regional but you have to create some sort of crisis first, to where people, it's the opposite. I'm only telling you what I would do. You don't threaten the people with it. You get them to make it think like it was their idea, it was their need, it was their problem that you had an answer to. You create the problem and then you create the answer, but you don't tell them about the answer. You have the people come to you. It's like, hey, I've got this problem, which is the crisis in the world, and we really need to stabilize markets and stabilize. I mean, part of it's going to have to be tied to a stock market crash, a big one, because the stock market has been artificially propped for years and years now. Nobody cares, because it's like the casino. Nobody cares as long as you're winning, as long as you're making money. I've talked to people. It's like, I don't care why the stock market's doing what it's doing, because I'm making money on it. I'm profiting from it. But at the same time, those same people are going to come back at you and say that, oh, hey, the world markets are really, really down in the dumps. We need to stabilize something now, otherwise it could get worse. And then the government will all of a sudden, hey, I've got an answer for you.
Right. But the problem with that is they want this, society and this generation to be lovers of money. So I think they could obviously plan a crash and whatever, and that could, but it would be, something that is volatile, bounces back and forth, that kind of a thing seems very likely to me at some point. But
sure.
are we going to be in poverty as a whole? The Bible doesn't say that, so I don't think that's going to happen. I think people are going to love their pleasures and money. So,
it doesn't have to be poverty. All you have to do is get rid of, and they've been working on this for a while. Come on, 2026. The fact that we got rid of the penny, it's no small feat. We've been trying to get rid of the penny since the 90s. So the fact that we're just getting rid of a coin entirely, just you don't know how significant that is. So all we're saying is we're getting rid of the paper and the metal, and we're replacing it with a digital thing wherever possible. And you'll give them time, kind of like we did with HD technology with televisions, which is, the rural environments, you're not going to be able to get out there for a while. They're still going to be dealing with cash on a limited basis. So 100th monkey effect, yeah. There you go. Yeah, and absolutely. The 100 monkey effect, which is what I've been gunning for a while, and I've mentioned this for years and years, the 100th monkey effect, which science, by the way, kills me, that they say, well, it's a myth and we didn't make it up and you guys just came up with this, pulled this out of your ass. And it's like, no, the 100th monkey effect is absolutely real. And if you believe this world has got a simulation feel to it, yeah, that's absolutely why I would do it. It's a beneficial update. So why wouldn't the 100th monkey effect apply to people? It applies to animals on a regular basis, and we saw it with monkeys. So if you haven't looked it up, please look it up. I don't necessarily want to get into it here because I know DJ's probably got other things he wants to talk about.
Oh, well, we got a couple things. We got a couple of people waiting, so I want to get to them in just a moment. A few other announcements that I want to make. Just Witsit posted something. I know he's been off for about a month or so. He did post on Telegram something about blood type, and so it sounds like he's okay and going to be back for good. So we're looking forward to that. Lisbeth is doing well. I reached out to her, and she's doing great. You can find her still on Clubhouse. So if you're curious, check out Clubhouse, Flat Earth Gang. Shout out to them. Still going strong, talking about Flat Earth and all sorts of stuff. So it's great to hear she's doing well. Nathan Thompson's doing well. He's over hanging out on the West Coast. So shout out to Flat Earth Farms. TrutherCon.com. That's where you can get your tickets for November 7th and 8th. TrutherCon is coming up. Obviously, we announced it, and as well as ITE in November 14, 15, 16, that kind of towards the end of the year. And then I wanted to make a few shout outs just to Skiba News Nation. They had some cool stuff recently. They I think they were on Sam Tripoli's channel, they had him on their channel. So that's really cool. So that's just nice. Very, another way that Flat Earth is going mainstream with these bigger celebrities and comedians talking about Flat Earth. And I really enjoyed that they, took a swipe at Fittest Flat Earther, who is just wreaking mayhem on the internet. I don't know what his deal is. But yeah, it's definitely, I think as Flat Earthers, it's like, we don't need more. If you really are a Flat Earther, why are you doing things that maybe are kind of making it look worse, So
unless he's just using Flat Earth as the clickbait.
Well, the growing argument is that he's using it as clickbait, or he's growing his channels, or that he's a plant and he's just made to make Flat Earth look dumb. And it's like, this guy was the #1 referrer of Flat Earth Zodiac Clock app, right? Dave's app, and then just turned on Dave. And that was like a whole thing that happened last year. And so it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just disheartening, because if you really are a Flat Earther, it's like, well, listen to the community. They want you to scale it back or be a little bit more accurate with this person is that person stuff. It's really the celebrity things that look very, it just isn't coming off great. Maybe somebody out there is a clone, maybe somebody out there is this person, that person, but on average, I think the audience that's following that are people who think Flat Earth is dumb and they just think it's hilarious, and the clickbait thing is a bummer. So that's my 2 cents on it. Nothing against him. I don't know him. I haven't really watched much stuff, but I just don't think that it's really helpful. So, he'll probably think I'm a shill, and I'm like, well, go digging for my past. Remember, it's kind of like Moira Rose on Schitt's Creek when they wanted her to dig for her past and found all of her old modeling pictures. So go ahead, dig it up from the past, and you guys will love. I wish I could talk about all the fun stuff I've already done. So go ahead. All right, let's get to Ginger. Ginger, you ready? What up? Oh, nice haircut.
Oh, thank you.
Looking good. How are you tonight?
Not bad.
Thank you for waiting and being patient.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, allegedly, Dave. Are you kidding me?
What an honor.
Yeah, sorry, man. Couldn't do it. Yeah.
No. I stand by your decision on that one. So, Kids in the Hall, there's a song. These are the Daves I know. These are the Daves I know.
I do not remember that one, but I am a Kids in the Hall fan. Oh, good Lord.
Oh, your microphone's picking up a lot of noise, Ginger.
There really shouldn't be any.
But no, it's all the rumbling you're doing. You gotta hold it. It's rubbing against something.
So, you know how Canada's on fire right now?
I heard this.
Literally on fire. The upper north is just in flames. The smoke came down to Niagara Falls, so right on the border, and yeah, the whole sky was yellow. Bonkers. Like, I've never seen this in 46 years of living.
Yeah, that is pretty scary and pretty tragic. Hey, your microphone is kind of really disruptive right now.
Yeah, Ginger, you got to
help us out here.
You got to get a phone stand and just wow, he's getting some feedback.
All right, sorry about that, Ginger. We got to let you go because it's just.
I know, I heard it too. But Ginger, if you're listening, get a phone stand, put your phone on it, don't touch it, don't hold your phone, and hopefully we can get the audio part sorted out.
Yeah. Okay, let's get D-Man while he's here. What's up, D-Man? How are you
What's
tonight?
happening, guys? Good to see you, Mark. Good to see you, DJ.
Hey,
Just listening in. Just wanted to comment on a few things. Mark, do you think that they're purposely, by all the crazy spending of the USD, just purposely killing off the physical dollar so they could go to the digital dollar?
Sure. Why not? I mean, the United States stock markets, all of them are, no, find me an economist that will disagree with me, are incredibly overvalued. And the money that they're spending on two different war fronts, the Ukraine is a proxy war, Iran, that's not going anywhere soon. It's not going to be resolved anytime soon.
Israel.
Yeah, the Israel side. They are trying to escalate it to a point where things come to a head, and it should happen pretty quick. But again, in the truther community, it's not going to be a shock to anybody, because remember, they're going to be telegraphing it to the mouth-breathing general public.
Yeah.
So you're going to see it way in advance coming. It's not going to be super quick. It's going to be like a slow motion motorcycle crash.
Yeah. And
after that, yes, the dollar. I mean, we still want the petrodollar, but we want it in a digital format. If that's what I would do, again, American fiat currency has been going on for a long time, but this year seems to be the big catalyst year. US 250, they're going for broke on all fronts. So
that was the whole thing with the physical dollar, was to kind of hold you to account that you wouldn't spend more than you actually had, so you just printed more, which dropped the value.
Right.
And so what's going to stop them from just creating stuff out of nowhere when they did nothing for it?
Nothing.
To just do exactly.
Nothing will stop them.
I mean,
it's a great way to get people, at least in the cities. They'll start with the cities first, which is it'll be no different than a credit card. It'll be a special credit card that'll have a balance on it, kind of like a debit card in a way, and it won't be that much of a difference for people. That's the other thing. If you're going to hook people on certain things, don't disrupt their lives so much that it's foreign to them.
Do you think it'll be assistance first? Like people on assistance will be the first ones that'll.
Maybe. Hard to say where the test bed will be. It depends how they move forward with it. I don't. There are options along the way. I don't think anything's completely been written in stone, but because they now have access to every piece of social media in real time, they can monitor and see, again, like anything, like a focus group that never stops. They can see what tracks and what doesn't instantly, and they'd be like, oh, okay, this isn't working, or they can read, they'll do a big canvassing of the data and see what the public wants. If they run into enough people that say, you get a group of people say, what would be great if they did this. If you have enough people saying thumbs up to that, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to give them that. It is the number two rule in media, which has never changed in a long, long time, is give the people what they want. And now that you know what the people want, now you can see it. You can look behind the scenes and see what everybody wants, and you can do the averages. Yeah. It's not just entertainment. They can do it in the financial sector very easily.
Yeah. I think that the majority of people probably don't want all the digital stuff, or at least people that don't want it don't need to get it, but they never give you an option.
Well, they can give it to you in a mirror. If it's easy to use, they'll do it. Which doesn't have to be tied to your phone. It could be a special card. Again, no different than your bank debit card, only way more universal. Or you can, I suppose the surgical thing though. There's too many people in the Christian community that are aware of those stories.
Yeah,
DJ being one of them. Look, your right hand to your forehead in case you don't have a right hand. I was really curious, by the way. They always say right hand, not left hand. And what happens to the left-handed people? Why not just the right hand?
Do you remember those people in Florida that voluntarily got it? The family?
Yeah. But it still didn't get that much traction. There were some people that got it, but the technology has been up so fast. I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to do that. Because even if you got a chip, that chip's outdated in under 5 years. Yeah. Right, you could update the software you want all day long, but with your phones, eventually you got to get a new phone, which means another chip. So, a wristband maybe, like a waterproof wristband that you wear on your wrist that's got a bunch of different chips, and you can, I don't know. I'm still working that part out, but I know that if you make it look like the number of the beast, look, you're reading social media. If it was me. Again, I'm not giving hints to the people that are out there, but if it was me, I would go out of my way to make sure no one leaned on the number of the beast trope, which was because once people start hearing that every Sunday, it's like, you're never going to guess what I just, heard or read or saw. And that's all it takes. And then people will push back against it, which is why the whole getting the shots thing, the whole COVID thing. Was you got to see in real time the pushback and what you could do. I still think there was layers to that whole COVID thing to where you could see what you could do with the people, right? And it's like, hey, if you don't get the shot, you don't get to go to your restaurant. Hey, you don't get to go to the ball game. Hey, you don't get to go to this. And a lot of people got it because of that. Again, I knew a woman that because she was getting segregated at the country club, got it in tennis. It's like, oh no, because she could only play against people that were, non-shot in that tennis club, and she got it because of that. It's like, and I was just stunned. I was like, really? That's all it took. And so yeah, it was an amazing experiment on what you could get away with it, but it was a one-off.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, damn it, I can't buy an overpriced cup of beer and a $10 hot dog. Give me the shot.
Right. It means one thing to say, the grandma and grandpa can't see their grandkids. That's one thing. You're tugging on the heartstrings. It's a whole nother thing, to say it's like, oh, well, you can't go to the ball game. Oh, okay, well, then I'll get it. It's like, what?
I didn't care.
Really, or I know, free donuts, right? Free burgers. Yeah. The free stuff that they were throwing out there. And it was staggering to me that people, it's like, really, I get a free Krispy Kreme donut every day for the rest of the year?
That's all it took.
That's all it took for you to do that. Really? You aren't going to hold out for something more, right? The old saying is never take the first offer. And when that started happening.
Well, it's sad. I mean, that I'm noticing just in my circles and in my everyday life, how many people don't agree with how it was handled. I mean, that after 6 years now, finally people are like, as far as the more dark part of it, I try not to go there with people who have it, because I think if you do regret getting it, which I've run into those people too, they're like, I regret it, but because they were duped, they were like, look, we're helping out people, we're helping out society, you got to do your part. And that's, for me, it just came down to the way they forced it, and I just never wanted to be forced to do anything with my body if it was against my will. So that was where I had COVID right before it came out, and I'm like, why do I need it then? If it works, why do I need it? And if I if it doesn't work, why do I need it? It was one of those, and I wanted to see how far they would push it, but it's pretty crazy what we just experienced. But it did wake up a lot of people, and a lot of those accounts that were posting conspiracy stuff have exploded. I mean, they were shut down during that time. There's a lot of shadow banning. There's a lot of just deleting of accounts. Now Flat Earth accounts and conspiracy accounts are just have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, and some now have millions of followers on those same platforms when before you couldn't do it. So, you know, I don't know what's going on. It's just is either AI has to implement more control because so many things are getting out of control for their side, meaning like this information is just spreading and they can't stop it. It's like whack-a-mole with all like truth bubbles popping up, or are they just letting it go because it's time for that and they don't care? Who knows? It's kind of interesting, but on this side, we're documenting every step of the way, and that's the fun part of being a flat earther or just a truther, somebody who's questioning things, or however you want to whatever you want to call yourself, right? Like, I don't love labels. I don't want to be called any one thing. I just want discernment. So but yeah, D-Man, thanks for calling in. I appreciate that.
No problem, guys. Good to see you.
Yeah, have a great night. All right, so we do have some more clips to play that I want to get to. Some news in the media this week. Did you see this? Let's see, I'll share screen. Andrew Tate arrested.
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was going to happen. I mean, as soon as he came back to the States, they hadn't forgotten about him, which is he could go right back into social media. Those are some fine shoes he's wearing.
He should be arrested for this outfit. Like, what is that? But watch the shoes. Apparently his foot disappears here. So I was watching another channel, Ashley Hayes. So we got to go back.
What, you think it was quantum? You think it was
Some people
AI?
think this is AI, yeah. So let me turn on the...
Back up.
Seems to be running pretty long. You can't go full screen with that, can you?
No, I don't know if there's a way that I'm just not understanding. Let me know.
Yeah, you should. So people, again, it's going to be tricky because people are saying, there's a way of zooming in, but
I'm not sure how to zoom in on that.
no, it's okay. We're not going to do it now.
But yeah, this is what apparently he was arrested, him and his brother, in Florida on rape and child pornography charges. Which is,
oh yeah, they got him. You got to remember why he left the country in the first place, which was, as far as influencers go, he was causing a lot of. And I know, look, he's technically one of ours, which is unfortunate. Because he mentioned about Flat Earth. He's made a couple things where he said.
What did he say about Flat Earth? I don't even.
Oh, you can look it up. It's on my channel. He was making fun of one of his camera guys that he didn't believe in Flat Earth. One of his camera guys did, and he's like, "What are you talking about? It's obvious that the conspiracy is real." And he wasn't kidding. He was giving a certain demographic, young, wealthy white guys, boys, young men, bad ideas. And these were guys that had fathers that were influential, and you could tell, kind of like mothers that swap stories. There's some of he was I hadn't seen this since, and I'm not going to give him the same level of clout as I gave Elvis. Remember, they sent Elvis out of the country because pretty much every girl in America was hanging on his every word, right? They were just losing their freaking minds over him. In Andrew Tate's case, young men were following him with a very, very enthusiastically. It's like, whatever Andrew's saying is gospel. I will do whatever he recommends. And the word was getting out there, and next thing you know, they made sure he was out of the country fast. To where it's like, no, we do not need this sort of influencer here. We need to get him out. And in fact, while he's in Europe, we're going to keep him tied up with legal things for years, which they did. So the fact that he came back, I think it was a little naive, because like, what do you think they were going to forget? They're never going to forget you. It's because social media is never going to forget you. He could come back here and start up again, and they're not going to let it happen. They're going to be like, nope, you are going to be tied up now for the rest of your life. So appreciate the work he did as a what was he, kickboxer back in the day. But no.
Yeah, well, there was some comments about this being AI, this arrest, but it is interesting because it makes you wonder what they can.
I don't think it was AI. If he came back to the States, he was going to get arrested. He
Right, but how legit are these claims? Because from what I understand is that he was he tried overseas and
find a video where he claims that it's not him. Because he's been really good about that. And plus, if you're going with the second thing, I mean, those clips were pretty long. And they didn't seem glitchy. I mean, it seemed the law enforcement people were acting like I thought they would.
Watch his shoe right here. See, it disappears. And then it comes back right now. So something's going on there that people are saying, which I thought was interesting. But still, I mean, regardless, if he's really arrested, are the charges real is the part that I wonder, because that's what they,
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the charges are real. They don't want him. They do not want him getting back into the American social media world. They do not want him making public appearances. They don't want him showing up on talk shows. He did. I don't know if you remember what happened back then. He was everywhere. He was getting a lot of traction, and he interviewed well, and he kept his stance of, his confidence level was freaking, went to 11 out of 10, and there was nothing stopping him. He was influencing. I want to call him a real influencer. People were taking his stuff, his tactics, and applying it to their lives on a regular basis, saying, "Yeah, this man knows what he's doing. I'm going to follow him." And it was disruptive, and they did not want to. They didn't want to mess around with it. So. Didn't matter what the charges were.
He's big in the conspiracy world of like allegedly he's exposing things, right? That's kind of the deeper part of all this.
Yeah, I mean come on, there's all sorts of conspiracy people. We do a lot of damage in the conspiracy world, but this guy was. I'm not going to say it was a cult following, but it was the beginnings of one, where I mean he could have done seminars, self-help seminars, if you want to call it, in any city. And there would have been a lot of people. And again, the demographic he was getting was the demographic that could do the most, that could also influence other people.
Well, I don't know much about him besides that was a bad outfit to be arrested.
Well, again,
you got a funny commentary on it.
Look, I watched him before he left for Europe, and if you want to say it's AI, or whoever it is, that guy is saying it's AI, it's fine. But until Andrew comes out from a place in Europe and says, "Oh no, that wasn't me," no, it certainly looks like it's something he would do. And it looks just exactly like what he should look like. He and his brother.
Yeah, I want to play this commentary.
They're going after both of them.
All right, let's see what this guy had to say.
Did Andrew Tate while he was wearing a pair of pantaloons. Okay, they nabbed him in his knickerbockers. Bagged him in his finest pair of business capris. Where'd you get them breeches, Andy? The Shire? I believe that this man may have literally become too big for his britches. Out here complimenting the look with a deep V violet blouse from the Prince for Preteens collection and a child's medium. What are you cosplaying as the clearance rack of a Ross Dress for Less? And I don't want to detract from the evil things that this man has both said and done, but I do need to know why he looks like AI Pitbull. What do you even call that? Pomeranian? Mr. Worldwident? Mr. Just Around the Block, occasionally, every once in a while? Why is he dressed like a matador who shops exclusively at a 2009 Express for Men? I need to know. And I know that you're looking at him and his provocatively exposed dainty little ankle, his wildly effeminate pointed toe, and you're thinking, this guy's got to be the biggest loser on the planet. But you're wrong, because that award goes to every man who ever thought this motherfucker was cool.
Well, yeah, I don't know much about him.
Again, anyone that doesn't know who Andrew Tate is, you got to look him up. Because I know I watched it happen. I watched him do the interview circuits, and then I knew when he was getting the message he was putting out there. There were too many men that were going. Imagine, those men's camps, that do like men, God, what do they even call them? The pro man's camps. I mean, very the misogynistic rhetoric he was throwing out there was being received. Let's put it that way. It wasn't. Yeah, there were people trying to shut it down, but there were a lot more people that were going, yeah, and he might be onto something, and that was dangerous in this country. And so somebody up in the higher echelon, I think probably again a couple fathers of sons is like, where did you hear this shit, right?
Oh my god.
People like politicians, people that corporate execs, and it's like, oh yeah, when they compared it's like, oh, this guy right here, and they showed him the video, and it's like, oh yeah, we got to do something here, and calls were made, and that was it. He was out. So again, he was not going to be forgotten. It was not that long ago. So him coming back, yeah, he knew it was inevitable. He sets foot in the States, he was going to get nabbed. So yeah, he's not going to be making daily videos.
Well, it is interesting because he's been running from it for a while. So it is. I don't know what happened. I don't know why, but I just
I don't think it's AI. I don't.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fine. And in the conspiracy world, they think that there was a lot of people saying that he was exposing elites, and so are they framing him? Is that even true? I don't know. It's nice to see the comments being like, no, he was slimy, he was sleazy, he was slithery.
He was all those things. Was he also doing truth bombs? Well, yeah, because that was part of his demographic. He was like, I'm gonna expose the truth and give you, but he was doing it with his spin on it. It's like, I've got the truth. Kind of like an Eric Dubé. If Eric Dubé was more dynamic and he was also a kickboxer and he was also the other things, that's the sort of, imagine that. But he was getting, his audience was
the influence. Yeah.
He was growing, and they didn't. Look, I understood. I actually agreed with it. It was like, as soon as he went over to Europe, it's like, oh boy. Like, and then but it wasn't enough. Once he got over to Europe, they're like, we're going to keep him tied up for a while. I mean, he was tied up in the court system in Europe for years, and with all sorts of, I won't say trumped up charges, but they made him look bad as you possibly could. I'm a little surprised they let him alive. So you're like, why not just have him die in a helicopter crash or something?
Well,
not throwing out ideas. I'm just
interesting.
saying.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of I followed a little bit more of what was the guy, the WikiLeaks guy?
Oh, Assange?
Yeah, Julian Assange. That was also a very interesting saga where he was years in South America. Right. He finally was, arrested in Europe and just running from it for so long. That was a wild story.
Yeah.
Okay. Same with Snowden. There's a lot. That's another interesting one.
Yep.
Okay. So Ginger, yeah, I see you. If you want to come back in a couple minutes, give us some time to get through some other videos, and we'll try again. If your mic is now, if it's working, that'd be great. Okay. But we got a couple other things I want to get to. So a lot of people talking about CERN shutting down. Let's see what this is. Duncan Trussell, who's kind of a regular on Joe Rogan, he's kind of talking about it. He's not quite flat Earth, but I think he'd be. If I was going to guess who's close, it would be this guy.
Yeah, sure. AI is about to wake up. Yeah, sure. They just shut down the particle accelerator, not because they're turning it off permanently at CERN, but because in 4 years they're about to. You think the Mandela effect is fucking bad? Wait for 4 years to see what happens. You're gonna wake up with big old dangling hog dicks flapping at the side of your head, and you're gonna look in the mirror and scream. And your family, you'll look around, they're all gonna have big old dangling hog dicks on the side of their heads, covering up their ears, dick flaps, and you're gonna hear your wife say, "Why are you should pull your dick flaps back," and you're gonna say, "What? Why have dicks on my head? Are you all right? What are you talking about?" Because in the universe you're in, big old dangling fat hog dicks is normal.
No,
that's what
it's that guy's ridiculous.
Yeah, that seems a bit
going
extreme.
off with the Mandela effect. So that's what I wanted to get to. I don't know if you heard about like the Willy Wonka one, and I want to get your take on it. Did you see that Mandela effect that's going around?
No, go ahead.
Well, we could talk about it first. So, based on your memory, what was the first candy bar that Charlie opens up?
Oh, the first one that he opened up was a Scrumptious bar. It wasn't a regular Wonka bar. It was a fancy bar. can't remember what it was called exactly, but it was a fancy bar first. He bought two. He bought a fancy bar, and then he went outside and found a coin in the street and came back in and bought a normal Wonka bar after the last ticket had supposedly already been found. So why the hell not? And because he thought the contest was over anyway, and that's when he found the ticket.
So here's what it is. So kind of what Duncan was trying to say is that we're just being gaslit on everything, and we're gonna have all these ridiculous claims. And I don't know, I didn't really screen that one very well actually. So maybe what he said. I don't know, but let's go to this really quick.
Okay, did you guys hear about the new Mandela effect that was just discovered? And I'm sure there's more of these to be discovered, by the way. There's old VHSs, there's old tapes, there's things we haven't seen in a while that if we go back, I guarantee there's more Mandela effects to be discovered. But this one in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from 1971 with Gene Wilder, which is pretty weird, by the way, has a shocking Mandela effect. So let's get into it. So we know that to get the golden ticket, you have to buy a chocolate bar, right? Not some Willy Wonka product, but like a actual legit chocolate bar. But what if I told you could pop your VHS in, if you still have one, and go watch the original, never been tampered with, not digitally altered. Charlie gets gifted a moon pie now, not a chocolate bar, as the first chance to getting a golden ticket. The timeline is he got the birthday treat at home, which makes no sense if you watch the clip. He's like, I think I got it. You don't get a golden ticket if it's on a chocolate bar. So what the heck, and no one remembers it being a moon pie. It was supposed to be a chocolate bar. Then Grandpa Joe secretly takes his saved tobacco money and buys Charlie a traditional rectangular Wonka bar. That one is a dud. And then in the street later, he buys again, chocolate bar, not a moon pie, and gets the golden ticket. But this one doesn't really make sense. The movie specifically states you need to get a chocolate bar to win. So why would he and Grandpa think he would even possibly win unless he had a chocolate bar? And this is said to have spread debate for decades, but only in the last 3 months has this moon pie thing come out and people been wondering about it. I can't find anything about it. People talking about why you got a moon pie if you can't get a ticket from that. I don't see anyone talking about that since 1971 up until this year. Family watches newscast stating golden tickets are exclusive to Wonka chocolate bars. Opens a moon pie. It doesn't make sense. And I don't remember no moon pie, man. I remember him opening a chocolate bar in that damn house. Now, here's the thing, though. A guy popped the VHS in his TV and said he solved the mystery of this moon pie. And he says, no, it is in the original. He says, this is a VHS from 1971. It was not reprinted. It wasn't remade. This is the OG. And it shows a moon pie. So it must have always been a moon pie. But that is not how the Mandela effect worked. It's not that they went and changed it and Disney went and altered it. It's that we're now on a different timeline where that didn't actually happen. That's the trippy part about Mandela effect. It's not they're going into your basement and editing your VHS of Darth Vader saying, Luke, I'm your father. And now he says, no, I am your father. That's not what a Mandela effect is. It's a timeline shift. It's a little bit of a shocking thought, actually. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Okay, so what do you think, Mark? Because I personally remember the moon pie being maybe the first thing that he got, and then later he gets another chance at it and he gets a different chocolate bar. I think he had 3 things, right? Wasn't there?
I've actually got the digital version. I'm not going to show it on screen, but I've got it on my hard drive. So I don't remember the moon pie being there at all. Now, granted,
really,
before he bought, I can tell you as we're doing this, before he went to the store and bought it, I think he bought one and ate it immediately, and then he found a coin in the street. And by the way, I'm pretty sure. Hang on. One sec. I want to see it because I also, by the way, it should be 1970, not 1971.
Well, that's the whole point of okay, so somehow in the conspiracy world, it's circulating that CERN is affecting timelines and affecting the Mandela effect, which is what, it's just fun to kind of entertain. I think they're more like gaslighting the American public, where maybe they've changed some things based on marketing. Kind of like how a logo will change subtly and you won't notice it. They don't announce it. And then you go back, you're like, well, it used to be this and it was that. But the fact that they lie about it, kind of like the Fruit of the Loom and the cornucopia, it's like, right. We all remember, most of us remember a cornucopia. That's how we knew what a cornucopia was. We remember seeing it on the labels. But for them to say it never happened is interesting because that's what we do remember. And now they're saying, there is no cornucopia, and it's just a bowl. It's a bunch of fruit gathered. Where I'm like, okay, people allegedly showed their T-shirts, and it was showing how these T-shirts had the cornucopia. So I don't know if they're just gaslighting the public, being like wanting us to doubt our own memory, or I don't really believe that they're changing time necessarily, but can they pretend and lie their ass off? Of course. And could they? It's just getting easier and easier to play with our memory in that way, which is, I think, more the psychological aspect to all this. But I am very curious to see what you don't remember the moon pie. I personally feel like I do remember that, because I remember being like, why would he even want to eat that? It didn't make any sense. The ticket shouldn't be in there. So what do you guys think? Do you guys, anyone remember moon pie or not?
Well, I'm looking at the scene right now. So there's the coin where, so I know he bought the one in the store. I'm trying to remember back of the house. I know when he got to the store, he bought a weird bar. He ate it immediately. And I was going, holy smokes, he scarfed that thing down quick. And then he found a coin, like a dollar coin in the street. And that's when he bought the original chocolate bar. And that's where he found the ticket.
Right. And then, but did the family also give him a bar? So was it
Yeah, I think so. But I got to back up. That was early in the movie. By the time he got the ticket, we were 32 minutes in, maybe. Let me look. I'm almost there. I don't want to skip too far ahead. Okay, so he's going to the store. You go ahead and do it. You want to jump around to other questions. It's okay. I'm checking on things right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat right now. So it's like some people saying it was always a chocolate bar.
I'm watching it in real time on my machine.
Okay.
Because I'm one of those guys. Yeah, he finds the... Wow.
Well, the way that we should do this is this. What's the first thing he finds and opens up, the second and the third? Or is there 3 or 2?
Okay, so he finds the coin in the street.
Well, what's the very first bar he opens up? Is that with the coin?
Hang on. All right, let's find out. So he goes...
What do you guys think? Well, what is
Cabbage water?
Want to chat GPT that?
Where was his birthday? His birthday privately with his grandfather.
Who, I love this movie, and it reminded me of my grandfather and my grandparents in general, but they didn't all have to share a bed, which I thought was
okay. So the very first, he gets a birthday present at 15 minutes in. And it is a... Hang on. It doesn't look like a normal one. It is a moon pie. Yeah, it's a moon pie.
Okay, and that's in
It's
your
a
digital
Wonka,
version.
a Wonka moon pie. The very first thing that was given to him as a present was a moon pie.
Okay,
But
well, that's what I
didn't
remember.
Yep.
So then the second and third, because
But,
what
they're saying that the moon pie wasn't there in the original.
correct.
Uh,
But I think the most obvious explanation is that they're conflating the amount of candy bars he gets, and I think it was moon pie, and then he finds the coin and buys one, or was there a third option? So
I could have sworn he bought 2 coins, or he bought 2. So let me get
right,
back.
that's what I think. He bought 2.
He goes to 30. Oh no, wait. Then Grandpa Joe at 27 minutes gives him a bar
Mm-hmm.
in bed. That's the second one.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah.
And there's nothing in it, obviously. And then they share it. And then at 30 minutes, okay, finds the coin at 32 minutes. Exactly 32 minutes.
And is that the lucky coin that gets him the golden ticket?
Yeah, but I think he buys 2 bars then. So he's already done 2 bars. One was the moon pie, which again, I totally missed because I didn't realize that it was a moon pie, because why would I? He just opened up a freaking candy bar. So he goes into the store, Mr. Singy Song guy, and he says, can you hear that?
Barely, not really.
Yep, Scrumptious. That was the first one. He buys that one first and eats it immediately. Because why not? He gives him the coin. He gives him change. And instead of taking the change, he said, my God, he ate that fast. Even the he just about ready to walk out, and he's like, give me one more. Give me a normal one. So this would be bar number 4.
Oh my gosh, I want to eat a candy
And
bar.
when he said
fast.
that,
What?
the what?
I want to eat a candy bar all fast like that. I don't think I haven't done that in 40 years practically.
And in fact, even the store guy recommended a normal Wonka bar, and that was it. So it was 4 candy bars in total. The moon pie was the first. Uncle Joe's normal candy bar was the second. Scrumptious. Again, I've got a golden ticket on my wall that's signed by Mike TV. I should know these things. One was number 3, and then the store guy with his change, he got the normal bar was number 4. So there you go. This is exactly how I thought it was. I just didn't remember that the first one was a moon pie because I wasn't focusing on how close it was.
Okay, well the chat's saying they want to see, so I'm gonna share screen. And
Maybe you want to see. You can't show it,
I'm gonna show it.
dude. You can't. Oh, you're gonna show it off that. Hopefully, you won't get hit with it. So, what do they want to see?
I'm gonna see if we can avoid a copyright. How fast he eats his chocolate bar. He buys.
Oh yeah, the first one was a scrumptious bar. It was a long, thin one.
Pause it for a sec.
And he wolfed that sucker down. He ate the whole thing. I think he actually ate it on screen. Rah, rah, rah. And even the guy says, "Look, you gotta watch it, kid. You're eating it too fast." And he gets his change, and he's just about ready to leave. And it's like, "Hey, can I have one more?" He reaches to the top. He goes, "Yeah, I get a normal Wonka bar. Who cares anyway? They've already all the tickets have been found." And he walks out the thing, and he finds the ticket. Well, once the fraud, that's the setup, right? It's like, oh, the 5th ticket wasn't found. He's like, there's hope. There's still hope. And he opens it up, and it's this big reveal, and it's done really, really well. Where, he barely opens it up, and he sees that little bit of gold. And again, I've got a replica of this on my wall. Which is why, had I known about the Willy Wonka reality show, I would have absolutely been on top of that thing.
Boom, there it was. Yep.
There it is. And of course, he's dumb enough to show it off and stare at it.
I know. Then this lady, she's freaky. I hate that part. Okay.
Well, again, he would have been.
No, it's perfect in the movie because it's what a kid would do, probably.
The overarching theme there, by the way, is that the Wonka Corporation knew where all the tickets were, and they were watching him, because that's when they sent Slugworth out to watch him. And in 1970, when this thing was shot, I think he was offering like $10,000 for an everlasting gobstopper. $10,000 in 1970 was nothing to sneeze at. You could buy multiple cars with that sort of money, and that's what he wanted for the gobstopper.
Well, just
why didn't anybody steal the golden ticket? Absolutely right. Now, well, because it was 1970, and it was supposedly in England, even though they shot a lot of it in the exterior stuff they shot in Germany. In fact, I think they shot a lot of it in Germany. So,
well, it's just funny circulating. It's all tied. People are saying it's tied to CERN, and I don't know if really things are how they're really happening. Because it's fun to have Life Matrix, his opinion on it. Just because it's part of the conspiracy world, we got to entertain it and go, okay.
Well,
tell me what you got.
What was the dispute? That he didn't buy that it wasn't 4 chocolate bars along the way?
Pretty much. I think people are forgetting that. I think people don't realize that the first one was a moon pie, because if you're going off memory and you can't look into it, you're thinking, okay, the first one was a chocolate bar, not a moon pie. And so, which makes technical sense of like, if the golden tickets are not in moon pies,
right?
Why do they have it, right?
Right. In which case the family screwed up. They got a moon pie, but his grandfather didn't. His grandfather had one, and he opened it in private, and he still didn't have one. The Scrumptious definitely didn't have one in it, because that's not part of the, that's not a regular one. And then the store, he wasn't even going to get the regular bar at the end. The store owner goes, "Hey, just have a regular one." And that's what he used his change on.
Oh, because he thought the contest was over, but it turned out to be a fraud. Got it. I remember now. Yep.
Yeah. So, but that's how I remembered it. I mean, with the exception of the moon pie, because I wasn't looking closely at the first bar that he got. But yeah, 4 bars.
Now we all want chocolate.
Yeah.
True. Shout out to Rebecca Ford. Okay, so just kind of that's what's circling in conspiracy land. If I were to point out what were the big stories, it was Andrew Tate, it was CERN shutting down, and CERN tying it to Mandela effect. And we're over here just analyzing. That's why I think the flat Earth crowd is kind of the coolest, because they're analyzing things super closely. And by the way, I'd be like, no, it's not happening, or versus or leaning in. So it's just fun.
I do believe in the Mandela effect. I absolutely do. The biggest example of that for me would be the girl in the Bond movie that had the braces, and that ended up being the girlfriend of Jaws in fact, it was in Moonraker, and I loved Moonraker. I thought it was a fantastic James Bond version, and now she doesn't have braces, and that's a big plot hole, and everybody I have told that to agrees. Was like, yeah, that's the whole reason he liked her, is because she had metal in her mouth like he had metal in his mouth. That's the whole point. And now she's just some Swedish girl with blonde pigtails and glasses. It's like, really? That's why they like each other? No, it was because she had braces. That was the hook. It was a great hook. It's like, oh, he's finally found a girlfriend, and she had to have braces in her 20s.
Well, I definitely think that they change things retroactively and then just lie about it. So whatever the reason, if it's more nefarious and they're trying to gaslight and make us question our memory, it could be that. But also, who knows? Who knows exactly? The timeline jump thing, I need more evidence, open to it, whatever. It's just fun that it exists in the conspiracy world. So, but I think we should kind of shift gears for a second, and let's kind of check in on, like we did last week, some flat earthers out there making content, some new and some familiar faces. So we'll start with this guy.
The round earthers, the globers, they're so ingrained that it's a globe, we forget what the evidence even is, right? And then you guys know the flat earth evidence so well.
Well, no, we know the globe evidence. Here, what's the radius of the earth? 7,959 miles. What's the circumference of the earth? 24,901 at the equator. How fast is it orbiting the earth? Average.
What orbiting here?
We're orbiting the sun. Sorry, orbiting the sun.
Every
how fast?
365 days. I don't know.
Miles per hour. 66,600.
666.
Well, that's just a coincidence, right? How fast is the sun traveling through the galaxy? Okay. How far is the sun? That's an easy one.
How
did they figure it out?
I don't know.
Okay. I know all of these things.
Right.
I know your model and you're defending it. How do you have gas without a container? Can you bring me, let's have a barbecue tonight. Will you get me some propane, but I don't like containers. Just bring me the propane raw. Can you do that?
The round earthers, the globers,
So I thought that was interesting that Jack Gordon posted this clip of him with Dave. And in it, he says, Flat Earth leader, sorry, Mark, says he's sharing the evidence that supports his beliefs. So Jack Gordon is,
Oh, no, Dave is a leader. No question.
Like he doesn't know at all. I mean.
Yeah, and by the way, Jack is one of those people that's getting sucked in. But he can't, because of his audience, he cannot say that he's pro flat earth. So what he's doing is kind of like what Rogan was doing before. He's using flat earth as an instigator because he's realized how triggering it is and how polarizing it is. So good for him. And it's true. Dave's point is one of our big, strong selling templates, which is we know the model better than you do. So why are you defending it? Right? Why are you defending a model you absolutely know nothing about? And that, with the exception of the visual standpoint, and in fact, most kids under 30 couldn't even name the planets if they wanted to, especially not in the order that they're in. So why are they defending it? And that's because they were told. They were told this is what it is. This is what space is. And they watched enough movies like, this is what space looks like and how it works. It's like, do you know how it works? Well, no, but I've heard it works. No different than in Behind the Curve when we got to the end and the experiment went a certain way. And people were, I talked to them immediately after the movie and I go, what do you think happened at the end of that? And they say, well, something bad, right? I go, how do you know something bad? It's like, well, because it looked like something bad. I go, do you even know what the experiment was? Like, no, but it felt like it was something bad. It's like, wow, this is how influencing works, which is you're just going with whatever, whatever's thrown at you on the screen at face value on the surface. You're not going any deeper than that.
And I mean, I thought it was just interesting that Jack posted that. So he's willing to make himself, not look like the expert on the topic, which is a big step.
When did he talk to David?
That's what Bill Keith said. He's like, when did Jack and Dave meet? I thought that was before Nathan and did his thing. So that could be going way back is my guess, but I could be wrong.
Mark, it's not real. What's not real? The Dave clip? Sure looked real.
No, this person, I think they were saying something about the Mandela effect not being real, that they could debunk it. So, hey.
Oh, the Mandela effect isn't real? Oof. There's a lot of Mandela effect stuff out there.
Yeah, how is it? I mean, there's definitely, I know logos change all the time. So that one is not that unreasonable to me. It's what's causing it is what's interesting and
you can't discount all the Mandela effect. I know people jump on the bandwagon. It's like, this is one, kind of like melted buildings and popcorn rocks. But Mandela effect, I could totally see that, especially if it's any sort of manufactured or simulation, because it happens in the simulated worlds all the time. Changes are made, updates are made, hot fixes are made all the time. And if it's digital, yeah, why not?
Well, and I look at it like, okay, could you imagine if George Lucas tried to gaslight us and be like, no, the original Star Wars always had the special effects that were added that we know, the late 90s, early 2000s, but he just died, went to his grave being like, nope, it was always in the original, never changed, but for whatever his creative reasoning of just wanting people to accept it as the original. But we all know that we're there like, no, but if you're a kid, you're growing up and you watch it, you're like, wait a second, there's these effects. If you watch the original, somehow you come across it and you're like, wait, where were those scenes with the walking, dinosaur looking things that they added years later, or Jabba the Hutt walking, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Gaslighting is something, well, even before the term gaslighting came out in the 40s, based on the movies, called gaslight. The people have been doing that for a long time. It's a very, very old trick. The fact that you think we can't do it on a massive scale, well, hell, I'll give you one. How many years is it going to take before kids don't even know what Twitter was, right? They're using X, but before that it was Twitter. For a long time it was Twitter, and then Elon bought it out and changed, again, this is your gaslighting, changed the charter. And I didn't even know you could do that. If you have enough money, you can buy a company and take the origin story of the company and change it to whatever you want. In this case, he can change like, oh no, I invented X.
Well, the weird part is the lying about it. Then, when there's if Elon were to come out and be like, no, Twitter never existed, that would be like a Mandela effect thing, where it's like, okay.
Or Ray Kroc with McDonald's. He put those plaques in every McDonald's franchise. Ray Kroc didn't invent McDonald's. McDonald's brothers did, and he bought them out, franchised it, and then rewrote the charter, and then drove them out of business to where there was no evidence of them to begin with. They kept one store. That was part of the condition of it's like, we're going to keep our original store in California. And what he did was he built a McDonald's right across the street and drove them out of business, and bankrupted them. And so to where this day, well, I'm so glad they made the movie with Michael Keaton about it, called The Founder, about that story, which was, and even then, even then it wasn't his idea, it was his lawyer. So yeah, it's the lying, DJ. It's the fact that you can change it. So if you don't think you can change anything on a world scale, you're kidding yourself. Human nature, we gaslight all the time. The history is written by the winners. What do you think that is? That's gaslighting.
Sure. So yeah, there's definitely just more of that. I think that's part of, the narcissistic system that we're subject to is they use gaslighting as a tactic to confuse their victims and keep them in a state of just perpetual arguing and blah, 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 blah. So who knows? But it is just crazy and fun to entertain. I mean, anything's possible, but let's kind of keep going along with some other cool flat earth stuff that happened this week. Did you see that William Shatner allegedly said the earth is flat multiple times?
No, I did not.
Okay, so this, I guess, came out a few days ago, so let's check it out.
I have to have you clear something up, though, if you don't mind, on the show this week. The last time you were on, we had a clip that got like 2 million views because you said something, and then people are actually attacking me saying, that's not really Bill Shatner. That's why I'm glad you're on video this time.
What did I say? I take it.
I asked you when you were up in space if you could clear the air of letting people know, is the Earth round or flat? And can you confirm that the Earth is round? Because there's been a lot of talk that the Earth is flat. Are you able to tell that from space?
No, I have not seen complete proof that the Earth is round. You can't tell me that it's round with any great proof, other than somebody said, "Oh, I went around it." Well, that's their journey. My journey is, as far as I'm concerned, the Earth is flat.
Interesting. You actually said to me that there was no evidence to you that the Earth was in fact round, and until somebody proved it to you, it was flat. That's what you said, and people went friggin' nuts over it. I didn't realize people would go that crazy.
The Earth is flat. The illusion is that it's round. The Earth is flat. The illusion is that it's round. The Earth is flat. The illusion is that it's round.
Okay, I want an original clip. I want to see the original clip. Did anyone catch that? Did anyone see the original clip?
By the way, he's doing really well for 95.
I know, that's true. He does look good. It's crazy. 95 just seems
95,
untouchable, but
and most people are slowing way the hell down.
yeah. I know, I have a great aunt who's 96. Sharp as a tack, still writes letters, but she's not as mobile. She rode her bike till she was about 91 years old. She's cool. So, okay. So yeah, interesting, right? I wonder if that's taken out of context.
I don't know. I mean, it's great if he said it, and I still, you know me, DJ, I have a funny feeling that there's going to be a lot more people talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than later. By the way, it's whoever said in chat, life circle, not 93 million light years, 93 million miles. That's the distance supposedly to the sun. Is 93 million miles, which is still quite a ways, because if it's 720 million miles an hour, then it's still minutes.
All right. Well, we're going to be winding down in the next half hour. I've got some things I want to get to. So we're going to get to a few AI movie clips that I think are fun and just crazy what AI is, some things we've seen similar to. But I got a few more flat earthers out there pushing content. A lot of this stuff is just review for our crowd, right? Because you guys have been been at it for so long. But for the new people out there, it's kind of shocking. So here we go.
You just say that again.
I'm a member of the Flat Earth. You ready?
Ready? Oh,
I'm American Aeronautics pilot. I'm a member of the Flat Earth Society.
God bless you, brother. Wow, the truth. I love it. Mwah.
How long have you been a pilot for?
43 years.
Wow. What shape is the planet?
Flat.
You're the pilot?
Hi.
How long have you been flying for?
Like for Delta, 21 years, but maybe like 30 something.
I want to know, because they say the pilots know a lot. Do you think the Earth is flat or no?
I know it's flat.
You know it's flat?
The world is flat. Confirmed. And ice wall, what's beyond the ice wall?
You get to that, and if you go down, and then gravity works in a different direction. So when it rains, it doesn't fall on the floor.
Is there another world beyond the ice wall? Wow.
You just say that again.
I'm a member of the Flat Earth. You ready?
So I don't know. We've seen those clips for years now.
Again, it's not an isolated incident where I told you when I came back from the UK a few years ago. The pilot that was flying my plane stopped and took a selfie with me, and he followed the show, and was but he didn't want me to take a selfie with his other pilot friends. He was just on our own, just the two of us, because good reasons.
Just looking at some stuff. D-Man sent a couple clips that I don't know if I can share it, but I can read this one. He sent one from Forbes. It says only 2/3 of American millennials believe the Earth is round.
Yeah, that's an old one. Fox News covered that. Greg Gutfeld decided to make fun of it.
So that means 1/3 of us.
1/3 of millennials, yeah.
1/3 of millennials think the Earth is flat.
Yeah, and Fox News jumped all over that because they're like, holy smokes, the education system is failing us.
And then he sent another one about, let's see here, what was it?
But that's because we have such a foothold in social media. That's why. It was like, look, our opinion has gotten out there, and you can't ban us. So, we are going to make an impact.
Yeah, well, it's kind of crazy if 1/3 of millennials really feel that way. That's huge, right? And then
and that's millennials, not Gen Zers. Millennials and Gen Zers. Oh no, they're all over it.
And then he sent this one, which shout out to him for doing that. It says documents stating flat Earth. So here we go. Can you see that?
The Earth is flat, and that mathematical equations used in aeronautics assume a flat, non-rotating Earth. Check these out. This is a CIA document sourced from the Russians, and it's titled "Dissertations Defended in the Scientific
Jake Grant, isn't it?
of the Institute of Physics of the Earth." In the document, it mentions a near sun and a formula that is derived on the assumption of a flat Earth. This United States Army document from the Army Research Laboratory on the propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth mentions transmitters placed on the surface of a flat, idealized Earth. In one of its figures, it also mentions flat Earth. In another Army Research Laboratory document, it depicts a diagram showing a flat Earth, crepuscular rays that we mentioned earlier, and a near and localized sun. Here's another document on projectile flight dynamics, and the equations in the document assume a flat Earth. Here's a NASA document on the derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model. Introduction. This report details the development of the linear model of rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA document on the SR-71 Blackbird and its top speed of 2,193 miles per hour. Maneuvers depending on a non-turbulent atmosphere and a non-rotating Earth. Federal Aviation Administration document. Equations of motion assuming a flat, non-rotating Earth. Another NASA document. A rigid aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. An aircraft model for the AIAA Controlled Design Challenge. Flight dynamics of a rigid aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA Technical Paper 1285, Flat, Non-Rotating Earth. The NASA Georgia Tech project in conjunction with the U.S. Air Force. A model frequently used is that of a flat, non-rotating Earth. You might argue that some of these documents are taken out of context, but you have to admit that a lot of these flight calculations are based on a flat, non-rotating Earth because they come right out and say it.
All right. Yeah, that's shout out to Jake Grant for that. Interesting stuff. Okay. So more flat Earth news. Let's go back to this guy that we shared last week.
The theory of gravity is unscientific by every metric. Gravity can't be measured, observed, or repeated. You can't test gravity with scaling scientific experiments. Why can't we recreate a smaller ball with water stuck to it while it spins where it's raining? Oh, Commander, it's just the sheer scale. It only affects things that are so big. Why don't the stars change over thousands of years? Why are they exactly the same? Oh, it's because they're so far away. Can orbit be recreated in a lab? You create something where something just magically floats around it indefinitely. Oh, orbit has to do with the scale of things. The scale is too big. Oh, the fact is, all these scientific things like gravity, orbit, and the stars always being in the same exact predictable positions is unscientific. They aren't just hiding the shape of the Earth. They're hiding the nature of reality and how we are connected to it. Well, isn't it convenient that the three things that could disprove what they tell us about the nature of reality, gravity, orbit, and the stars never moving, can't be independently and scientifically tested? Isn't that convenient? The theory...
Yeah. Yeah, well, just shout out to that guy for taking the stuff we know. And so kind of that was the main stuff that I found with Flat Earth this year, or this week. Oh, wait, there's a couple more. This was kind of interesting. And then we'll get into the AI videos. Okay, check.
Wait, so a bunch of flat earthers flew to Antarctica to prove the Earth isn't a globe, and then came back saying they saw a 24-hour sun? Isn't that the end of flat Earth?
Yep, it was called the final experiment. They live streamed the sun for 24 hours straight. That's only possible if the Earth is a sphere. Suck it, flurfs.
Brian, that's not how logic works, fella.
What's that supposed to mean?
Seeing something happen doesn't automatically prove your explanation for it.
I've watched this argument 1,000 times. If Earth is a globe, a 24-hour sun is possible. We saw a 24-hour sun. Therefore, Earth is a globe. It's called affirming the consequent.
Wait, what's wrong with that?
It's fallacious reasoning because you exclude potential alternatives. Think of it like this. If it's raining, the grass is wet. The grass is wet, therefore it's raining. What if the sprinkler was on, genius?
Okay, but you gotta admit that a 24-hour sun in Antarctica is still a big problem for flat Earth.
Only if you want to change the subject to what the sun does. But that's a different conversation entirely.
Brian, you're changing the subject from whether the argument proves a globe to whether flat Earth has a question it doesn't know the answer to. I've seen people pull that move for years. It's a red herring, a distraction that shifts attention away from the original claim.
Imagine looking at the sky and drawing a conclusion about the ground beneath. Utterly ridiculous. Wake me up when they actually measure the curve.
So the final experiment didn't prove anything?
It proved that most people will abandon logic the second they see something that confirms what they already believe.
So just shout out to that for getting ahead of TFE, their documentary that's allegedly coming out, right? I mean, that's kind of interesting, like the content, and then using the Family Guy characters is fun, and just exactly like now that we've had time to process it, they never once showed us the curve. Come on, what the lights are doing, but they don't want to they don't want to hear that. They want to lean into the fact that the globe side they're banking on is going to go, well, you guys, you're just flat earthers are ridiculous. You've got an answer for everything. You won't take the evidence and you won't accept it. It's like, no, actually, because you're still not proving curvature, which is the whole point of why you're trying to debunk flat earth when that's not even the best term for what it is that we think is going on. So this is the conversation I'm having to have with my globe side friends all the time. I wish it was all the time. It's put off, but this is where they like to live. They like to live in this fantasy land that I'm pushing, moving the goalposts on them. And I'm like, guys, you were my friends before all this. Am I really that person? Like, name another thing that I've done this. And it's like, no, but that's what happens when we're in the situation we're in, and they don't want to fully grasp how much detail goes into what we think is going on with the earth. But if there's a lie about almost every way that this place functions, there's also a truth for every way that this place functions. And it's hard to fully understand if you don't have the time, energy to look into it. But flat earthers will just keep on pushing forward with that side of their little truth side. And it's amazing to watch, really. It's just kind of crazy.
Yep, agreed.
Okay, so let me see if there's another one. This one was pretty good, I think.
This video is strictly for those of you that know. So if you know the true shape of the realm or this earth, then you know. Not here for convincing, not here for argument, just going to explain something really quick. So if that's not you, keep it moving. So like many people, I used to think astrology was complete bullshit until I had read the Kabbalion, and I read as it is above, so it is below. And I thought, well, isn't that basically astrology? And what astrologers are saying, whatever's happening above must also have some effect or impact or is happening below, which is down here. So the above are the stars over here. And when you actually look into these stars with powerful cameras and telescopes and everything, you don't see flying balls in space. That's complete bullshit that they sell to you and that they lie to you ever since you're a child. As you can see, you got powerful cameras zooming in, get one yourself, do this shit yourself. And you see all of this above over here. You see orbs of light and things shining as if there's a light emanating, which is why they call it a plane, because it is a plane of consciousness, which brings me to my next point. And this next point of mine is called the prima mobile. This picture, this design that you're seeing here, is called the prima mobile, and it begins at the top, something called the Empyrean, where all life comes from, the gods, or the realm of the gods. And then you get to the crystalline sea, which is the beginning of the prima mobile. And then you have the fixed stars on the firmament. And then you have the planes of consciousness, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the sun, Venus, Mercury, and then the moon. And it's funny that just how in ancient cosmology and cosmogony, we have a circular shape around our realm of Earth. And yeah, I mean, all ancient civilizations, not only these ones, but plenty more. It's just NASA that says this flying ball bullshit. And so pretty much all of that is just to say that that is exactly what got me into astrology, is realizing that we have a creator, that we live somewhere fixed and not flying through bullshit space and bullshit sky, and how we evolved from monkeys. That's complete bullshit. Other than that, you can look for yourself, see for yourself, whether you believe in geocentrism or heliocentrism. The truth is that you can go on astrological databases where studies and researches have been done and published, and you can find that actually when people study you astrologically or study people or events astrologically, it just starts to make sense.
You know, a lot I don't necessarily agree with, but what's interesting to me is that he's somebody who's kind of in between that phase of New Age and maybe ancient cosmology or biblical cosmology. He's kind of on the verge, and so I don't necessarily just deter people who are on that journey for themselves, because maybe it points them even further towards the truth. That's my hope and my prayer, right? And we got to have patience for a lot of people out there who are on their own timeline, their own journey. And so, but what's interesting though is that if you are into astrology and you realize space isn't real, I mean, that kind of can be very crushing for these new age people who are putting so much weight into like, what's your sign? Like, I'm a Taurus, what are you? And using it as all kinds of ways to live their lives without, you know, really putting any responsibility on their own actions. They're kind of blaming it on the stars out there. Well, look, you can still have signs and seasons and for you know, prophecy with the stars. It's just flat side's like, look, when you zoom in on these stars, they're not like gas balls trillions of light years away. These are something that are much closer. This is like what Joe Hamby is really great at. They're doing something. They're all different. They've all got their own, you know, unique look, which would be like their signature. And what are they? I mean, even in the prophecies are like, they are first signs. They've been first signs throughout human history, and maybe one day that, you know, they'll be more obvious signs, and who knows. But that's kind of the part where I see new age blending in with the flat earth stuff now. Because flat earth is not a religion. It's not going to, it can point you to ancient religions, and it can point you towards the biblical side, which I think is great. But also it's interesting how, you know, I think the more you learn about the new age side, which I come from and I knew about, I started to realize how little power it had, how little influence it was really able to do, how much little insight it really gave me. And that was what was pushing me towards other answers. And so I think that's happening as we speak right now too. So just kind of interesting. We're going to be winding down. We got some AI clips to play since, you know, those are always the most fun. We don't have a titty killer episode tonight, unfortunately. I'm sorry, everybody out there, but we got some good stuff anyway. So let me see. These ones were kind of cool. Wait, let me see if I can find them. Strange sound. Kitty killers.
Cute.
Right, if you're a cat lover, you love that.
It's cute. And again, easy to make, fast, and I mean the production value. You can't
beautiful, right? I mean that was
well. AI does beauty really well. That is one thing they have nailed, which is they've scanned every attractive woman in history, and that's the composite. Yeah.
I know. So those kind of 1950s style are my favorite AI videos, I think. I just love, or like when they make the movies retro into the 1950s style graphics.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so popular, and AI does it very well. We got some more
because it's never been done. I mean, it's better retro than actually watching retro films from there, and even if you upscaled it. Because the production value, it's like you spent hundreds and millions of dollars on a movie to make a retro piece. Yeah, it's awesome. Really good.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I got, okay, there's another one. This one, NDB is like, wait, what? Go to that one. How about this one? Can you see that? No, you can't see that yet.
No.
Okay, here we
go. Same creator. Nope, that didn't work. Surprised they didn't go with different music for that one. They could have actually turned it into something fun. But it's cool.
Yeah, I could live there.
Well,
I don't
sure.
mind that. That's so
anybody could.
Scrumdiddlyumptious, all of it, just the colors and the cleanliness and the.
AI does. I mean, it's super refined, super stylized, and it's good. I mean, I've watched a lot of AI over the last couple of years, and
yeah, well, that movie just seems like it draws you in. That they don't even have dialogue, but look at what it's able to do. We got one more by this creator. Okay, this one's for NDB. Watch out, the titty killer is loose, girl. This should no one tell her. Girl, watch out. Yep, that was like a short one. She's going to her secret base. I mean, I'm sure she's got a friend or two out there.
Good stuff.
Pretty good. Okay, then these ones are pretty funny too. Okay, this was Mario versus a Ninja Turtle. Oh wait, it's not working. Sorry guys, let me redo that one. Here we go.
Don't disrespect the villagers!
I will disrespect anyone until I get my mushrooms.
What happened?
A smelly plumber from the northeastern village is causing trouble outside.
I will show him.
Nice, right?
Again,
all right. So like a lot more of those. Those were fun. I don't know. I think we're gonna be landing this plane. Maybe I could do one more because it's got an Oompa Loompa since we're on Wonka night. How about this one?
This pistachio cream is delicious. All I need is some Dubai chocolate. Willie's going to be mad, but I need that chocolate.
That's done really well.
Yeah.
They're shooting it with like a late 60s, early 70s angle.
Hold it right there, you wench. You're not getting in here. Step aside, you carrot, before I cast a spell on you. You can try, but I won't allow you.
You know what else they don't do? Which is why the AI versions are better, is you don't need stuntmen.
Mm-hmm.
So the angle that you would have to hide the face, you don't have to hide them anymore.
Right. I mean, it's pretty intricate, right? I don't know how much.
Yeah, and you get to do things that you cannot do in real cinema.
Yep.
I mean,
So,
it would take you a week to shoot all that back in the day.
It'd be so hard to do too, and just the amount of people it takes. But that's the crazy part, right? It's super fast, it's cheap, and it looks really good. So in that way, movies are going to change. Even George Lucas is like, well, of course AI is you're gonna want to integrate it because he's made his billions. He doesn't.
Oh yeah, Lucas. Yeah, of any of the people, he would have jumped on it.
Yeah,
instantly.
But I like that James Cameron's allegedly saying like none of the Avatar movies have AI. So it's going to be a weird struggle until it just kind of gives, because I don't see how you work around this. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, that wraps another episode of the Strange Lounge. Thanks for being here tonight. If you didn't hit like and subscribe, please do. It does help grow this little channel, and I appreciate all of you so much. So wonderful time to be here. Mark, say goodnight.
Good night, Mark.
Good night, Strange Lounge. You guys have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Did you forget how to play your video?
You guys still here? What are you doing here? I said good night already. Oh, here we go.
All right.
Stay strange, stay curious.
Turn the lights down low. You made it through the strange world. Now come chill with us in the lounge. Neon drips off the city sky, static hearts, but we're still on high. Phones light up like constellations. Every call is a revelation that the world bends. After the show, we'll let the truth move, soft and slow. No maps here, no wrong or right, just strange souls up late tonight. Sit that sound, let the doubt unwind. Leave any fear behind. If you're curious, you're right on time. This is yours, this is mine. Welcome to the Strange Lounge, where the night won't judge you. DJ Curious on the waves. Mark Sargent keeping it brave.
Man, not that firing! Hold on! They're just like in that movie! I know! Just keep your head down!
Move your body, feel that beat. In the Strange Lounge. Stay curious now. Meant to breathe like a velvet dream. Baseline pulls you in between. Truth can dance, doesn't have to fight. Feels better in the afternight. Laugh it off, let it get surreal. What's imagined starts to feel real. No agenda, just vibes tonight. Stranger safe under our lounge light. If the world feels upside down, we spin it back flat with sound. Take a seat, take a chance. Lose yourself inside this dance. Welcome to the Strange Lounge, where the night